Hi there.
Hey, Janice, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. And I just wanted to, welcome Miss Jannis Paulk from Clarity Based Marketing. And I'm Dr. John Rothwell, Doctor of Nursing Practice, Advanced Practice Registered Nurse, Family Nurse Practitioner, Board Certified, Emergency Department Residency Trained with Island Direct Primary Care. So thanks for joining us
Awesome.
with Outside the Box 2020,
Outside the box, indeed.
right?
Yes.
Working
Hi,
outside the box.
Corey. Corey's here. Corey's here.
Hey, Corey.
I love Corey. Corey's like our loyal listener. I love her, and she always asks the best questions too.
No, she is awesome. So I look forward to some of the ones that she has today.
Yeah, and Candy too. Candy's usually here. I don't know if she's here today or not, but maybe she'll make it. So I know you don't have a whole lot of time because I've been watching your Facebook post, and I know that you have a lot of things happening in your life with
It's
your patients. You
crazy
have
right now.
20 20 COVID patients right now. Is that right?
Yeah, roughly we've
Did I
had
see
20
that?
COVID patients over the past month. So
Yeah, I thought I saw that on one of your posts. It's
yeah,
so much. It's so much, and I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. But here, I know you don't have a lot of time, and I have a question. I know a lot of other people have this question about the booster. So I know things are bad out there right now. COVID is having a very serious effect on a lot of people. Again, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole because we all have stories to tell, and we know I'm a storyteller. But my
well,
question is, should we get a booster? Should we plan to get a booster?
so first and foremost, right? Whenever we do this time, my time is yours, and so
I
we have
appreciate
we have 19 minutes, right? And if you remember back in the day, writing a 19-minute speech was just painful, and
it.
so and there's plenty to talk about. We'll talk about what we need to do, and you know, and it's going to be fine. So we don't have to rush
We
because I
slow
think,
it down.
yeah, because it's important, right? It's an important question.
It is.
Booster to no booster, that is the question. And to be fully transparent, I just pissed off by the question, right? Not your question, but the fact that we're even having to answer it.
Yeah.
And what I mean from there is this. Here's the scenario.
Okay.
In traditional vaccines, take the influenza, you get it every year. So essentially you're getting a booster every year because there's multiple variants and the variants change and you have these new variants that often come from different countries. And part of the reason why that happens or those mutations happens is because those countries don't have the healthcare system in place that many of our industrialized worlds have, right?
Okay.
Like the United States. And so what we've seen is with SARS-CoV-2 or COVID-19, and we'll refer to COVID, um, you have a lot of countries that don't have access to vaccines, and new variants or mutations are happening, replicating there because they don't have people vaccinated. And so then people are traveling again, doing things, etc. We open up our borders, we open up travel in and out of the country, and then people are exposed to those variants.
Mhm.
And I think the main way to reduce the number of variants is to increase the normal of natural immunity. In other words,
Okay.
the more people that get it, the better.
Mhm.
And the more people that are vaccinated, the better. So it's kind of working integratively. So, me, I'm very collaborative. I like to look at the not just the traditional, but the holistic aspect and just bring them together and say, okay, look, let's not fight together. Let's work together. We don't have to have the same common beliefs, but
Mhm.
we have a common direction. I think everybody, many people would not argue that The goal is to reduce the number of COVID mortalities, and then ultimately reduce the number of people who contract COVID. And so in order to do that, you need more people exposed and you need more people vaccinated. So you need both, right? So that you can establish herd immunity, so that you can establish a big base. So I think that if we were on Facebook right now and I gave my opinion, they might block me or cut me off. But I think booster shots in the United States of America are selfish. And that is a very opinionated statement. But I'm going to go with my opinion.
Okay, I don't understand. Well, first, let me stop you for just a second and say that Candy and Corey are both here. Candy and Corey have both weighed in, and we'll loop back to that because Corey has a question, and and Candy has some input too on the booster. But okay, so let's not forget to do that. I definitely want to answer their questions. So you said what you just said was that you think that boosters.
Personal opinion.
Yes.
Boosters in the United States.
Yes.
Is selfish.
Okay, I don't understand why.
Why? So right now you have the Delta variant, we have the Lambda variant coming on the backside of that. And
okay, Lambda variant, is that a new variant or is that the old?
That's a new one.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so that's why you have me. So what we have here is, look, I'm not an epidemiologist. I'm just kind of a nerd that's looking after his patients and community. And so when we look at the variants that we have now, where's the mutations occurring?
Okay.
The Delta variant, India, right? And so you had 2 months of just high spikes of COVID, mutation, and very little vaccination.
Okay.
Now, you don't have that. You did not have that in the United States because we had, 40+% fully vaccinated, some partially vaccinated, right? And then you have all those who aren't unvaccinated. You bring people from India because there's families, and we have this wonderful country that allows others in for the most part. And then you have transmission, and you take a mutated variant, now enter it in a new petri dish, and then it grows, and then it gets transmitted and transmitted and transmitted. And then some people catch it or not. Remember, vaccines are they're built off of what is there and what may be projected, but sometimes, it doesn't cover all the different variants, which is why we have a new flu vaccine.
Right.
Every year.
That I know that. Yes.
Yeah. So if we create an environment to where we can increase natural immunity and we can increase vaccinated patients, so the both in an area of these third world countries, then more likely than not, we're going to reduce the rate of new mutations.
Okay.
And if we can reduce the rate of new mutations, then maybe, just maybe, with a booster shot in the future, we can cover all the variants, because the sensitivity of the vaccines on the Delta variant alone is much greater than influenza, which we do every year. So if what we have right now without the booster is much greater than what we have with influenza right now. So why get the booster?
Oh, okay. I have to be honest with you. I joke all the time about, being a doctor and all that kind of garbage, but it's a joke. But I'm fairly educated about things, but this stuff really, honestly, like half of what you're saying, I'm just like, because it's just kind of boggles my brain. Like, yeah, I just want to be led, which is quite unusual for me.
And that's part of the problem,
Yes, it is.
right? Because people are being led in the wrong direction.
When
And
how do you
so
know? How do you know that you're being led in the wrong direction?
you talk to your primary care provider and you hope that they spend their nights and evenings reading and reading and reading and looking and then keeping track of their own staff, right? Keeping track of their own members, keeping track of their own families. It's just like we say, it takes 14 days to have antibodies for your Pfizer or Moderna vaccine.
Right?
I know this for a fact that that's not true.
Really?
Of course, because I took a small sample size
Mm-hmm.
of my patients and employees
Mm-hmm.
who said, hey, you know what? Let's see how long it takes us to make antibodies.
Oh, okay.
Right? Because when COVID first came out, I found literature that supported antibodies for 3 years with SARS-CoV. 3 years.
Okay.
When the media was saying 3 months.
Yes. You know, I
Right?
have some friends who have antibodies 18 months out.
Yeah. So
Yeah, they just shared that information. I thought it was pretty
now,
phenomenal.
does that mean they got strong antibodies or not? No, but it means they have some.
Right. Hey, can we
And
go
so,
over and talk about the things that Corey and Candy are saying? Because I love
yeah, I
so much
can't see them.
there. Okay, I will read them to you. So the first thing Candy said that she wished she
Read me
didn't
a
have to
story.
wait.
Oh, I see it.
You see it now? Yeah.
Like Corey's written like a book over here. Hey, Corey,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
lost me. Okay.
All right. So her question: she has a friend whose son was exposed on Monday. She didn't find out until Tuesday. They've both tested positive but have no symptoms. Her husband and daughter were negative. This feels like a math question. Her husband and daughter were negative. If she didn't have symptoms, does that mean anyone that came in contact with her might not get it? Is it always a given that when someone is exposed to someone that they're going to get it? Now, I know the answer to that last question. That is not a given that someone who's exposed is going to get it, because I was exposed quite closely, I might add, back in February and did not get it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Okay. So I know that's the answer to that one from personal experience.
Yeah, exactly. So I've had a gay couple who one had symptoms, one didn't. And I think I've shared this story
You
before.
have shared this story.
And so the asymptomatic partner tested positive, the symptomatic one tested negative. Well, you know, false negatives are there. So we tested them 10 days later.
Our false positive.
And the results were the same.
Mm-hmm.
And we PCR'd them. Okay. And we did the send off lab test. Mm-hmm. And the results were the same. So one was sick, the other one wasn't sick. The one who wasn't sick was positive, and the one that had symptoms was negative throughout the whole entire thing. Lived in the same roof, still shared intimacy together, and the other one never got it. And then the same thing with straight couple, right? And so that was, again, interesting. And that happened to be a friend of mine. So I'm like, well, dude, did you at least kiss your wife or what? You know? And so his wife jumped in and said, yes, of course. He was gone for 4 weeks. And so, and she never got it. Right.
So there's no real rhyme or reason to that. The moral of that story. There's no real rhyme or reason.
Now this is pre-Delta. Okay.
Right.
I'm not going to tell you how many times I've been exposed to Delta. But I am at a point in my, I pray every day. I do my devotions every day. I'm not living in fear at all.
Yeah.
But I'm praying every day. Because
I hear you. Me too.
You see where I'm going on social media, and
I do.
And I'm going into homes of some pretty sick people, to ensure that we can keep them out of the hospital if possible, or at least determine, do they really need to go to the hospital, because going to the hospital has its own risk.
My stepmother got COVID in the hospital.
And increased risk. So, I'm keeping patients out of the hospital.
That's great.
And that's what we do. What other question do we have here? So,
so if she did not have symptoms, does that mean that anyone that came in contact with her might not get it? And then she also says, what do you recommend to the people that she did come in contact with? And so I'm wondering if Corey came in contact with her. And she doesn't have to answer that, but so that's a big thing. Like I know some other people who have, indirectly come in contact with people who had COVID. Like I said, I was exposed to COVID before I was vaccinated in February. My dad and my stepmother both had it. And I literally was like holding her hand and sitting right next to her at the hospital, closed in space. I thought for sure I was going to get it. Thought I did get it. Got a false positive. But never got it. Knock on wood, never got it. And my dad got it. I was with him, and I just had to be, because I had to help take care of him. And so I never got it. So what would you recommend to the people she came in contact with? Should they quarantine?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Just so we had a staff member before they were a staff member. Exposed, asymptomatic, tested them, and they tested positive, right? And actually they were asymptomatic, tested positive, and they tested positive for quite some time. Doesn't mean transmissible, but positive. And they had antibodies for 10 months, So you can, some may try to assume that just because you don't have symptoms doesn't mean you have it that bad and you're not really building a strong enough immunity, but that's not necessarily true. How much everybody's immunity is, we don't know. We don't spend enough time working with our immunity system unless we're in sick care. And this is the thing. So, I know you have a lot of holistic people that actually focus on holistic healthcare. And so when you do that and you're really working on healthcare, not sick care, you're really preparing your body at all times to maximize on, all cylinders, right? Mm-hmm. I think the last ones we work on all cylinders is with people's hormones, and that may really be the ones that we should do first.
I have another question up there can you see that?
It's popping up. It's so cool.
Well,
You're growing up, Jannis.
I know. Look at me. I'm a big girl now. So I really understand that globally the vaccination needs to be available, and the more that get vaccinated, the better for sure. But if our immunity is falling, won't the booster keep our immunity high so that we can continue to be protected? So in other words, what I'm hearing her say is this back to the booster, and I'm interested. I want to know about the booster. Like, should I get a booster? I don't want to get a booster, but should I get a booster? If my immunity is falling, should I get it? Did you lose your ears?
Are you there?
Yeah.
Cool. I took this off because I have a friend. Scoot over, friend.
You have a friend. Hi, friend.
So this is our business development manager. So I told her some of the cool things, Jannis, that you've been doing, and so I thought I'd like her to see what you're doing.
Nice. Yeah, so, very good.
All right. So repeat the question.
Okay. If our immunity is falling, won't the booster keep our immunity high so that we can continue to be protected? And that's really that question. I didn't coach her, but that question is exactly the reason that I wanted the subject to be what it is today, is should we get a booster?
So first and foremost, let me just tell you how much I love Candy.
I know.
And I love her questions. And I
Donna's here now too.
I don't know them personally, right? But they go online, they're interactive, and they're just seeking information, and hopefully they're sharing the things that they believe in, and the things they don't believe in, they're going out and finding additional information to just inform their families, their friends, and their community, right? So right now, with the existing vaccines, particularly the messenger RNA ones, you're looking in that before the Delta variant, you're looking in the 90 percentile after being fully vaccinated. So you're in the 80 percentile with the first shot. You get the second shot and you go from 86 to 94, 95. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean you're not going to get COVID? No, it just means that you have those antibodies and that you're more likely to be able to fight and suppress the body's response to the virus.
And we're seeing evidence of that in the numbers. Right? Like I'm seeing numbers posted by various healthcare systems.
Sure.
And so that's supported by those numbers.
It's supported by those numbers. Just remember that in scientific method, those numbers are supposed to be unbiased, and people want to be right. People want to be known as the subject matter experts. So they're only going to tell you many times what you want to hear, unless you know someone like me. I was the doctorate student that I would come up with a theory or come up with an idea, and then as I'm doing my literature review or my meta-analysis and come to find out that I was wrong, I was right that I was wrong. And my biggest fear was my grade would suffer because I was wrong. And my grade never suffered because wrong. My grade actually increased because I followed scientific method. And so getting back to it, taking influenza, being in that 50 percentile standard deviation of 2.5%, 5% on either side, we have enough protection, right, for that season. So if we're at the 70, 80 percentile, depending on the vaccine, maybe even 66 percentile, I think it is with Johnson & Johnson. Don't quote me on those numbers. I'm just kind of trying to remember all the stuff that I constantly read. But either way, all those percentages are much higher than influenza. And when we're doing the analysis, running the analytics on those people who've been vaccinated who get COVID or break through COVID, whether they're in or out of the hospital, we're not able to see what that percentage is. Like, why? Like we're not counting the antibodies to determine how many you need. So that booster shot is the exact same shot that you got the first time. There's nothing different.
Okay.
In that shot. It's the same dose, same medicine. Just like when you get shot 1 for Moderna, you get shot 2 for Moderna. Your booster shot's going to be shot 3. It's not going to be a smaller amount. It's going to be the same thing. So we're going to boost it 8%.
It's not like it's going to stack.
Right. I mean, so if
right?
so Danny gets the vaccine, I have the vaccine. I may have a 94% response to the vaccine because my body's used to making antibodies. Danny's younger than I am. She should have a stronger immune system already, but let's say she's on her menses when she gets her vaccine. Is that going to play a part in her building antibodies? And so even though we got the same shot, we may have different percentages of response. And so again, getting that vaccine does it, for those 8 to 10 points, is that more important than serving communities that have zero access to vaccines?
I understand what you're saying.
They want it. So my feeling and my thinking is it's we're an instant gratification culture. Yeah. We live in a wonderful capitalistic environment. Americans are very giving people, but we're also a very selfish people. And so if John had his way, I would take every military resource, not every, but I'm using that exaggeration, military medical resources in these C-17s, right? C-141s, their medical staff. I would take these faith-based organizations that believe in going over to countries and doing medical mission work. I would take any organization that believes in doing medical work outside of our country and say, you know what? We're going to give you 200,000 vaccines. We're going to pay for your transportation and your food over there. And let's go get those initial vaccinations. And if we do that, then we may be able to slow down the mutations of.
But we are not doing that. I mean, it sounds great. It sounds great, but we're not doing that.
We
but
can't
what
do
I'm
it because we spend $3.8 billion on booster shots that we don't even know are going to be advantageous to us.
Okay.
I mean, right now we can't get people to take the first vaccine,
right?
But we're going to invest in $3.8 billion. Besides, on the day that the FDA approved the Pfizer vaccine, they announced a $3.8 billion deal. Now my soapbox is coming out.
No, stop. Okay.
I'm on it, right?
I know. So, I didn't realize. I had no idea that's what I was opening this can of worms. All right, let me say just a couple of things.
It's not a can of worms.
It is, but it's
outside the box.
Okay. Okay. You're absolutely right. You're right. And let me start by saying this. I value you and your expertise so much. I appreciate that you have these conversations with me. I appreciate that you answer people's questions, and I just appreciate you so much. And I'm thankful that I have you to lean on, when I have these kind of questions, because I know I can trust you. I know you're out there. I know that you're not just taking whatever is fed to you. You're like you doing the test, with your people on the antibodies. So I appreciate that. That's the first thing I want to say. The other thing I want to say is, unlike my normal self, like I was saying earlier, I kind of am at a point now where I think I'm weary. I don't think I'm unusual. I think there are a lot of people out there, and I want you to tell me what to do. So the conclusion for me in this particular subject is I'm not going to get a booster. I don't think it's necessary after, hearing what you had to say and understanding enough of it. I didn't understand all of it, if I'm honest, but I understood enough of it that I'm not going to get a booster. I'm just going to continue on. I'm going to pray every day also. I will be smart about it. But I want to recap, because I know we need to wrap this. We've been almost 30 minutes. This is a long one. I said it would be a short one. I want to recap that Corey's question, which was great. A friend that she has that has tested positive, has no symptoms, you still have to act the same way. She's positive. So you have to quarantine and you have to do all the things as if she had symptoms. So quarantine for 10 days. Is that what that was? 10 days? Okay. Quarantine. Jazz hands. Quarantine for 10 days. As long as I don't do
this one, we're good, So.
That's okay. So quarantine for 10 days. We can work on that. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Quarantine for 10 days. It's a given that somebody's exposed. It is not a given that if you're exposed, you're going to get it. That is not necessarily going to happen. And then the people she came in contact with need to be quarantined. And
quarantine. So for me, if someone gets exposed,
yes,
I'm quarantining them for 4 days. I'm testing them. If they test negative, bye-bye, you're out.
You're quarantining them for 4 days. And then if they test negative, they're good to roll. Very good to know. Very good to know.
Candy's right. But the challenge is, do we know if we're falling, if our boosters are falling or not? Or if our immunity is falling, wouldn't the booster be better? Sure, absolutely, it would be. The question is do we have enough? I don't think we have enough evidence to measure the current outcomes to see why people are having outbreak cases. or is it just because of the variant? And so if that's the case, and we have 3 billion vaccines, I'm throwing a number out there, right?
Sure, sure.
3 billion vaccines, then I say we wait on time before we implement boosters, and we take what's in stock because we don't want them to run out, expire, and we provide them to those country of needs. And you know what? I tell you what, if there's anybody that listens to this that is willing to be a financial person to make something this happen, Island Direct Primary Care will do everything it can to get medical professionals who are capable of giving shots, EMTs and stuff like that, will volunteer to go over there, and we'll start making it happen. And that's a big commitment. I'll shut down the practice to make it happen. I think it's that important.
I agree. I agree with that. I agree. And I think it's going to take some outside of the box action to, do it. Corey has a question. Are home tests okay?
No, I love it, Corey. So the Binax Abbott testing is probably more likely what you're talking about. That seems to be the most common at CVS and Walgreens. And so it's the ones that we're using at urgent care. It's the ones I use.
Okay. Really?
Yeah. And
that's what you use? So
yeah, that's what we're using now. I'm finding, look, in the end, if they're positive, they're positive. Having a false positive is less likely than not. But having a false negative is much more common.
Yeah.
So one of the things, NOLA, I believe in serving in the community and stuff like that. So NOLA recently asked me, she goes, "Hey, John, I know you need my help at work, but the community could use some volunteers to help test students so that they can return to school, so we can help parents get back to work. Do you mind if I do that?" And I'm like, go for it, right? And so I'm losing her a couple days a week now volunteering, but it's for the right thing, right? And the goal is to do the right thing every time. And so she's using, and they're using the exact same test. But so you can do them at home. I think it's roughly $25 for 2 tests. I have to charge $25 because I got to buy them from MedFast and process, blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
So it's $25 for 2 tests. Learn something new today, right? So they're encouraging people to blow their nose before they do the test, so that it takes the cells and moves them up front to the nares, so that when we can do the basic nares and not have to go back into the nasopharynx, and we're getting a better specimen, which
that makes sense.
It makes sense, right? Which should reduce the number of false negatives that are out there. And so that's good. So NOLA's going to be volunteering in the community, doing testing and vaccines for the Brevard public school system a couple days a week. So if you're a parent and you see her out there, she's now Dr. NOLA, and she'll be board certified at the end of September. So we're super, super excited for her. And she'll be taking patients. So because I'm almost on a wait list.
Really?
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. We love NOLA. I love NOLA. Well, your sidekick is really quiet.
She's learning.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we'll get her on next time.
Yeah. So Danny's business development manager. And so she has a degree in marketing and business administration.
Very nice.
And we were working on a couple projects in Orlando and in Atlanta. And so she's just trying to figure out, do I want to do the biz dev thing? Do I want to do the marketing thing? Do I want to do the sales thing? And so I'm like, you know what, let's just get you out in the community. Let's get you learning about direct primary care and really going out into the community to small businesses and finding out what the problem is and identifying the problem. And then she can bring the identified problem back to the team. And then we can see how we can put a package together to help the small businesses in our community offer high quality access to healthcare. And so that's what I'm all about. And so she's been a great addition. So all the social media content stuff online is coming from a group effort from us, but it's from her initial thinking and brainstorm. So we're, trial by error, and
But
I
she's
think
doing
we're
a
having
great
fun.
job. I've noticed.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah, having a lot of fun. So we like to have fun here. That's the number one question I always ask the team. I go, if you're not having fun, we need to find something else for you to do.
There you go. There you go. Well, I'll have to come over and take you out to lunch one day.
We do that when Danny's here, so we can talk because Janice is
Not you, her. I'm not taking you out to lunch. I'm taking her out to lunch.
Oh, that'd be great.
You owe me a lunch for our recording anniversary.
I do.
Still hadn't figured out when.
We got to set it up. I'm leaving for St. Thomas, going on a vacation that I canceled from COVID next Friday
Oh man.
for 9 days.
Okay, so I'm gonna see you, but we'll be back next Thursday at
Thursday.
11:30
We're on
ish.
a grass curtain coconuts.
Oh my gosh. You're leaving this Friday? Tomorrow? Next Friday. Okay. Oh, you're gonna wear a grass skirt and coconuts for the next video? I'm holding you to that.
I just
Yeah.
might.
I think you should. Totally think you should. Yeah. Okay, it's on. So next week, same time, same place. We'll see you. We'll kick you off to your vacation. Corey says, enjoy your vacation. Brandy, Candy thinks we're so cool. Thank you, Candy. Thank you, Donna. Donna Norwood was with us today.
I saw
And
that.
she commented too. Yeah. Donna's one of my favorite people also. So we had a great talk today. Thanks so much for spending so much time. And it was nice to meet you, Sidekick. You're doing a great job. Looking forward to meeting you in person.
One question for me.
Yes?
How's that podcast going?
Oh, honey. I am getting ready to kick that joker up. Have you seen my videos?
No, I've been I've been visiting COVID patients at their house in full garb in 96-degree weather.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's what I do. You know, I was on the Ebola team. I was on a specific team over in the Middle East way back when, it's just what I do. And so no reason to be sorry. I'm truly blessed that I have the opportunity to do it. I'm blessed to do it without fear. And so, and this is what, what my members get. If it's needed, we do it.
I know.
And so, no, it's cool. So your podcast is going well.
I'm working with a podcast consultant. I haven't launched the podcast yet. I'll tell you all about it. But I'm doing almost like a little reality series because I just couldn't get it off the ground. And so I have a podcast consultant who's working it all out with me. I meet with her live every Wednesday at 10 a.m. And
just do it.
I'm doing it, buddy.
Have the faith and jump in the water, even if
it's
cold.
Well, it's not about having faith or jumping in the water. It's about organizing time and making, taking all the steps. There are things you have to do. So watch the videos. You'll see what I mean.
Okay.
Danny,
watch the
videos and then give him the cliff notes.
Well, and you know what?
That's what I'm talking about right there.
We can talk about getting the right who's in place because we can't do everything. And if we're going to increase the quality of service that we're going to deliver our customers, you're an entrepreneur, I'm an entrepreneur, and I want to provide the highest level of customer care with the positive customer experience, and I can't do everything. And so as we grow, some of my existing patients, Nola's been around a year, she's graduating, they're going to migrate over to Nola to free me up that time so then I can work in partnership with Danny to be the voice of Island Direct Primary Care and to do those things so that I don't have to feel guilty when I take time away from my patients to grow the business. Mm-hmm. And I'm growing the business to provide more access to more people. And that's the whole point. So
it's all a balancing act. And it doesn't matter what industry you're in, it's a balancing act for all of us, so.
You're awesome.
Thank you. So are you. Have a great day. So nice to meet you. Bye. Bye, everybody. Thanks, ladies, for being here.